telling me that, this $3,400 compensation was never mentioned, and that the city does not even remember anything like that?
Mr. Fred Edens, when he phone called me first on January the 3rd, made me aware of this piece of correspondence.
So he didn't agree to that?
He didn't have any knowledge of it. And keep in mind, Chairman, I don't have any knowledge. Mr. Armstrong doesn't have any knowledge. Chairman Bowers has no knowledge of it. We've been through countless budget committee workshops, and at no point in time was there any $3,400 for Mr. Schuettler or Mr. Church ever addressed in last year's budget.
Well, how could we bring something like that up if it was never done? How could we just bring that up off the top of his head like that? Is that true, Mr. Armstrong? Do you not remember anything about the city giving $3,400 to the county for this unfunded mandate that we have to do to?
That's correct. I don't remember any money mentioned. The meeting that Chris had mentioned was in Mayor Holder's office, and Jerry Pierman and Chris and I was there, and they informed me at that meeting that the Planning Commission was going to take over the control director of the credit of
the management. This is the management of the actual building to get it.
Now that was Chris and the city manager and Johnny Holder, I think, the mayor, had made an agreement to do that. But I wasn't in that meeting.
Not that part.
But the meeting that mentioned in here, I don't remember any funds at all mentioned at all about.
Just pay, not funds, not amount. Right.
When any funds had, I was surprised that the Planning Commission or Chris was going to take control of it. But I agreed to do that. But I was pleased he was going to do that.
Well, who was at this meeting, Mr. Schuettler, when they spoke of the $3,400?
That was Mr. Pierre, Mr. Holder, and they had Edens on the phone. Or the individual from the city on the phone.
An individual, don't know who it was?
Yeah, it was Fred Edens on the policy. Let's see what it was. But anyways,
Mr.
Edens
Edens,
is the bridge.
Mr. Edens has no recollection of that. My
Well, I
issue.
don't think so, Leon, because I've got some notes that I've got here when I called Mr. Edens, spoke with him at certain meetings, dates, and times that I spoke with you over it. So, I think this is a bad place, a public forum, to have to actually get into this situation and maybe you're jogging your memory the proper way. Like the chairman has mentioned, it needs to be a private meeting.
I would like to ask Mr. Edens himself if he denies saying anything about that $3,400.
Mr. Chairman, let me say a word or two here. I think right now, what we need to do is set up a committee. Mr. Bowers, our chairman of the commission, Mr. Pierce, the planning commission, Mr. Edens, and sit down and try to work this out. Now Mr. Schuettler has said he said last week, as we said in the commission, he's going to take 60 days. He'll agree to do this for 60 more days. Well, I think this advisory board has had ample time to start looking at trying to hire a director.
Mr. Chambers.
Now, let me finish, Mayor. I've got the floor right now, okay? Now, I think this is, if I heard correct, this is the only planning commission in the state of Tennessee that does animal control. We shouldn't be doing this. I can't get what take this off of the planning commission's hands. Now, we've been on this, we started on this, I think, when I came on board on the commission, I think 2 or 3 months after I come on the commission, we funded the money for the new animal shelter. We're almost 2 years, we're right now 2 years, and we don't have anything started yet. But I think that this needs to be taken off the planning commission's hands. We should be responsible for the growth of this county and doing the jobs that the planning commission does, and not being an animal control people. Now, I'll leave it to Mr. Pierce. He's the chairman of the planning commission to set up a committee, up of who he'd like to have do this, but something needs to be. Both parties of the city and county need to sit down together and get this worked out. And if you just want to bring the advisory board in on this too, but I think it's something that has to be done, because we're not going to get nowhere sitting here going back and forth like this.
Mr. Chairman, can I?
Yes.
Enter into this correct?
Yes.
I think we need to simplify this. The problem of animal control director has been effectively addressed by Mr. Schuettler's agreement to continue on in that role for 60 more days. So that part is done. He's agreed to do that. So we do have an animal control or an animal shelter director. In the event that Mr. Schuettler still feels that he needs to be compensated for this work, or that he has been failed to be compensated, that we have a verbal contract, because I've done unlimited, now I'll admit this, it's been unlimited investigation into this, very limited. There's nothing in writing that backs this up, that I can find. Now, maybe something else will come up in the future that may substantiate this, to where the county or the city in joint or individually has agreed to pay him in. So if we can't get this straightened out and resolved, that Mr. Schuettler should consult the county attorney in conjunction with the city attorney and institute civil proceedings if he thinks he's owed money, and Mr. Church as well. So I would, I think that would simplify this matter and put everything back on the right track, in my humble opinion.
Well, I think that sounds like a reasonable conclusion here, but I would like to say that this planning commission supervising city employees, I don't think we should be in that situation. If the city wants to supervise their own employees, and I think they should go ahead and do that, and I think that it should be a priority to this board that they're putting together here, that within 60 days they'd be ready to take this over, because I think the planning commission needs to get it out of our hands and get it into the hands of these people that's supposed to be organizing. They've been organizing for 4 years here. They will need to get something together and be ready to take this thing over in 60 days, and then this board will wash their hands of this.
Mr. Chairman, can I say one last thing?
Yes.
I'll be the first to agree with this board that the direction of that animal shelter should have never been in the planning office. That's not the reason I'm here today. As far as the advisory board, please let me remind you that board has not even been finalized yet. Those members have not been appointed. I have spoken directly with Mayor Alexander. He's working very, very expeditiously to make those appointments, but they have to be confirmed by city council before we can have our first organizational meeting. I have attended just about all of those meetings of the Animal Shelter Building Committee, and I'll tell you today, based on my experience, place in 60 days? I'm not going to guarantee that. As I've told the commission, the board, once it's complete and has had its organizational meeting, the first order of business will be to put an ad in the paper advertising for that position. Because there's nobody in this room that wants it more than I or the other members of the city. And the city has been very, very great to work with in this effort. The city and county in the past have had problems, but we don't have any problems this time, especially on this project, other than the constraints that we are faced with as far as the not having adequate funding to build the shelter as we designed. So let me make that clear, okay?
Well, that being said, I think that even if they don't have a director within 60 days, then they should be prepared to take over the running of this thing until they get a director. Because we don't want to do it after 60 more days. And unless we're mandated by the county commission, we're not going to do it. I don't think we should do it. So if they don't get approved to get a director and get going, then they should be prepared to temporarily take over the running of this animal shelter after 60 days.
We need a motion on that.
I think we do need to entertain a motion.
I make a motion to pass that.
I say.
One last thing.
Hold on, we got a motion here. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Chairman, is unanimous.
One last thing, Chairman. Could you please clarify for me? There's not been any motion, I think, made on it, but the issue of compensation is the only reason I'm here today. From a mayor's standpoint, from a county budget standpoint, that's important going forward. Mr. Barry, you'll understand. So, is this board not taking any action on that, not recognizing that letter and that gentleman's agreement that was outlined, and wanting to allow Mr. Schuettler to pursue through legal action if he deemed necessary for payment?
Well, without any further investigation, I think that I would like to have a written statement by Mr. Eads confirming that he did not agree to compensate or donate or contribute $3,500 or whatever it's supposed to be to the running of this shelter for the extra work that has been put on these guys here to do all of that. And without anything in writing, I don't see how we could inform that, but if he wants to be man enough to stand up and say that that didn't occur or something like that didn't transpose here in front of him, then we just leave it up to Mr. Schuettler to civilly take it to the
So if you get a piece of correspondence from Mr. Reed saying that he had
I would
not
like to look
disagreed,
him in the eye and let him say me that.
well, so you'll go visit
So
him.
I would like to set this advisory board up to have a meeting with him and anybody else that might want to be in on this.
So basically, I can trust you, sir, Chairman, to take care of that with any contacts.
Yes, and I would appreciate your participation too.
Okay. You've got it?